Guys, what's going on? Welcome to SquareBodyTalk. My name's Dave. This is my bearded brother from another
What's
mother. You guys all
happening?
know him, Steve. What's up?
What's happening, brother? Man,
Oh,
you've been
no.
absolutely rocking the build this week. I'm really surprised. You must have got tired of hearing us giving you all this crap about not having the square running. So I'm really stoked to see what's going on tonight, man. We haven't talked all week, just because I wanted to talk to Dave about what's all happening here. So pretty stoked to see what's going on.
It looks like he did trim his beard a little bit. He was
It's
rocking a
been
ZZ
it was
Top
like
last
this.
week.
No, this is the same as it was last week. You guys are just retarded and don't notice things like that. That's
Yeah,
okay though.
maybe. That's what. Yeah, whatever.
What's going on, Rob?
Yeah, what's up, guys? We got a C72C up in the house. Zoomad. Who else? Aaron up in here. Uh, Off-Road Farm. What's up, guys? Good to see you up in here. I know we got Bill Arrow. I seen him talking some smack earlier. Who else we got up in here? Yeah, it's awesome. So, welcome to the show tonight, guys. It's we didn't really have too much planned. I've just been cranking on the gold truck. I really wanted to be able to start it up for you tonight, but I'm running into some troubleshooting problems. So we'll get into all that later.
You
But
know what
yeah, so I figured we
I
could
think
talk
I
about
actually
my
know.
stuff, talk about your stuff, and talk about all these guys got stuff going on. Chris has got stuff going on. Frickin'
Absolutely.
Bill Arrow's got stuff going on. Just
Right, Bill
everybody's just
chopped the
rocking,
back
man.
of his truck off. I can't believe he did that.
Yeah, I did the little bobber on it. Looks good.
Yeah, cut the
Yeah, I
back
dig
off,
it.
little
I dig it.
departure angle modification there.
Yep.
It's good
Oh yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I think you guys. I have a theory on this. I'm pretty sure that a little bit of Dave's Jeep made it into his square body. What do you guys think? Pretty sure that that's what's going on here. Got a little Jeep going on there, a little Chrysler in your starter there, Dave.
It could be. There could be something to it.
Oh man.
So
So I actually do have something real fast that I wanted to show you guys. Um, let's see if I can bring this up. So you guys know we've
shut
been doing all
up,
kinds of we've been doing all kinds of stuff,
freaking Busters
and
down here in the chat.
so this may not. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but that is. Can you see it? Okay, Dave.
A little bit to your right. There you go. Hold it there.
Can you see it clear?
Kind of back it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have to go in a little bit. But anyways, here, let me
Well, those
make
are the
it.
first frame rails
Oh, hell yeah.
for the Patriot chassis.
Oh, fucking hell.
So and then here's the front end and the skid plate for everything. And then there's some of the other bracketry that we got coming to us.
I dig it, man.
So
Dig
you
it.
guys know how big a deal this is. It's huge. I wish I had a little better pictures to show you. Here's some of the other cross members and stuff that we ordered. Basically, you guys can see little V notches on the tubing. You would basically take those and bend towards the cut, and that would make a specific shape. So you can make a radius or a little bit of a what do you want to call it, like a notch in the tube or any of that stuff. So it's pretty rad. Thanks, Bill. What's going on, Zeke?
Zeke up in the house.
Yeah. So it'll be cool because middle of the first week of June, I'm sorry, second week of June, I will actually be up in Idaho welding that bad boy up. And actually, I won't be welding it up. I got a team of guys up there that are pros, and they know better than to let me weld stuff. So we'll be putting it together. So will these chassis? So Chris is asking, will these chassis come as a DIY setup or assembled? So that's something we're talking about. We're not exactly sure yet what we're going to do. So I suppose if we get enough interest, we might be able to work something like that out. We've tossed the idea around of having a more non-modular version of the chassis. So like, say, for example, a guy like Dave maybe doesn't want to do a bunch of modifications in the future. He just knows he wants to build his truck this one way, and we may be able to supply a chassis that has less modularity than the full-blown chassis, and then maybe Dave has to weld a couple things up to get the thing together, and we would do that at a different price. So It just depends on what we're what the future holds for us. Depends on how the business goes. So at this point, this is numero uno. Huge deal. Super excited. And
Badass.
it's friggin' awesome. So
Plugging in.
yeah, what's up, Jesse?
Yeah, I got Jesse up here. I got Kevin up in the house. So hell yeah.
Yeah, friggin', it's gonna be cool, man. So what's going on with you, dude?
Not much, man. I'm kind of tired. It's been a long weekend, so I figured it was a 3-day weekend. Didn't really have anything going, so I decided to just start cranking on the truck. So basically, pretty much all of last week plus this weekend. So basically, this weekend, every waking moment that my kids were, well, every moment
Every some
they were asleep. I was out here working on the truck. So usually work until about 1, 2 a.m. and then I kind of got a lot accomplished. So the main thing was to get the trans over, then to run the harness, and then to clean up all the wiring in the truck, wire the fuel pump, um, and just kind of give power to it. I had to run a little fuse block, and I really like this harness. The harness is kind of cool because I was going to run it, the PCM, in the cab on the driver inner fender well. And then I was like,
yeah,
well, if there's a way I can clean it up. And so I was kind of thumbing through the instructions, and it was like, hey, it's kind of made, and I seen the length of it that you could actually pump it through that hole that's already there next to the evap box on
right.
the truck. And so it's kind of made to go in that area, and I had a lot, and I figured even if I do the vintage era, I have a lot to work with where I can move it over the PCM and all that stuff. So I think I'll be all right. And then it really cleaned up the engine bay a lot. So like all the wires basically come out, they go behind the intake, and then everything kind of breaks off from there, and it looks pretty good. So I haven't loomed
Right on,
everything
dude.
yet. I've just kind of like I loomed and I heat taped everything that was by a heat source, just a couple of wires and that's it. So I want to get it going first. I figured if there's a problem with the harness, I'll have to tear into it. And right now I'm having an issue where it's cranking, it's not starting. I came home and I put my fuel pressure gauge on it, and we're getting the proper fuel pressure, 60 psi. So that is looking good. So now I got to figure out what is going on, see if they're trying to fire and they're not firing, or what's going on. So that's basically it. So I can get it to start on starter fluid. It'll kick. So I know that the spark's good and it sounds good. So it sounds like it's hitting on all 8. So no worries.
Yeah,
I'll
it
get it
sounds.
figured out. So
So I have a couple of actual real theories on this. By the way, Ben and JD just hopped in. What's up, guys?
hey, what's
And
happening? Good to see you, JD. Good to see you, Ben.
Chris is saying that the in cab is a good call. Um, uh, my business partner's over here. I think he's watching. He's talking smack. The best way to what is he saying here? The best way to tow with a Chevy is to put a Ford powerhouse in it. He's all up on the whole diesel Ford
Wow.
thing, and he's actually on his way right now to the to Washington, and he's driving a new Ford Power Stroke. So you guys go ahead and just put down in the comments what you guys think about the new Power Stroke and how Ford is doing so good with their potential merger with General Motors. And I'm sure he's gonna love to see what's going on in the comments because, yeah, he's a smack talker.
Is that thing approved
Yeah.
yet, or is it still just kind of in the talks or in the works or
So
what?
I read that basically what's going on is Ford eliminated all of their sedans, so like the Fusion and some of the other medium-sized stuff. The what the hell is it? The Mercury, the Sable. I don't know what the hell it's called. Anyways, uh, yeah, Bill, we kind of did the same thing at our place. My business, the water district that I work for, we stopped buying Ford half-ton trucks and they went to Chevys for 2017. And then Bill's saying that Forest Service dropped Fords for Dodges and Chevys for 2020. So yeah, I don't know. There's probably a whole bunch of internal stuff that we don't know that's going on, but it sounds like Ford's slated to drop in growth for the next 5 years, 45%,
Yeah.
which is really bad for a shareholder. When you look at a business and you're investing in it, you don't want to see growth stop. And the one thing with GM is their growth curve is not a curve; it's supposed to be flat. So that's not good either. But at least it's static, right? The rate is flat. When you have a negative, curve like what they're talking about for Ford, that's bad. That's really
Yeah,
bad.
I don't
That's
think
like,
those.
you know,
Yeah, I don't think those. Like the Forest Service and stuff like that. I mean, they just they just look at the bottom line, which one's the
They
cheapest,
do.
which one's the cheapest to maintain, what's all that, because I did when I worked at a Chevy dealership, I did the fleet service, and it's,
Right.
um, that's all they care
Bottom
about,
dollar.
the cheapest, hey, what's the
Right.
cheapest, all that good stuff. So,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah, and it's
somebody
kind
asked
of
a
a
question in here, um,
what's that?
about are the coil/injector harnesses set on separate fuses like stock? They are, and it's a painless harness, so it's got a fuse block and everything that comes with it. So
Did you check? Have you tried testing or don't you have another motor laying around? I would just you got friggin' pull that crank and cam sensor out real quick and swap it.
yeah, I might do that. I did try both PCMs. So I mean I trust Joe, so I'm sure he tuned it right. But I tried both
Well,
PCMs, same result, and so I'll try those sensors. But
well,
basically, how it went is
yeah.
last night. I mean I had a bunch of stuff to kind of wrap up little things before I could actually fire. So I haven't really had much time to actually troubleshoot it yet. So we'll see. But yeah, I
Okay.
may try that because one of those could be causing an issue. I need to
Well,
really go
one
ahead.
thing I just thought of though is if you're getting it to fire up on starter fluid and it's popping on all eight, that means it's got RPM signal, which is generally what would trigger the injectors. So um, it's no injectors are firing, Rob, is what it sounds like. But the one thing I would be curious to see is in a scanner, can you see RPM? You should be able to, if it's firing it off. I mean, it's trying to fire the coils, or it is firing the coils. So it should be very interesting. Uh,
Yeah, I'll have to
it could
plug
be
it
a
plug
ground
in my little
or something for
elm
those
with my
injectors.
with torque and
Your own
just
meter.
look.
Yeah.
I didn't bring the Tech 2 home, so I can't really do that. I just really wanted to make sure I was getting proper fuel pressure. That kind of eliminates a lot of stuff. So I am, and it's keeping fuel pressure all the way through the crank and everything. So we're good to go there. Yeah,
Yeah.
check the ground. So basically, how the harness works, there's three eyelets that come off of the harness. So one's at the back of each head, and then one is actually I extended it a little bit and I ran it straight to a clean point on the side of the block. And then the block's grounded, the chassis is grounded, and the body, like the core support and the body, is grounded. So yeah. I
Sorry.
know it's shooting blanks. It sucks. It's a bummer,
It's
but
not
that's
good.
okay. So we're just in the troubleshooting phase. That's kind of how these things go. I when I did my K5, I had an issue. I was using the wrong pump. I thought it was internally regulated, um, but it was not, and so I wasn't getting pressure to the rail, and I was having an issue with the fuel too. But this one actually has pressure, and so but I don't know these injectors. So I bought this guy I worked with at Chevy. I bought this intake off of him with the manual throttle body and a couple like the accessories and stuff. So I don't know how long the injectors have been off. I don't know if maybe they were even bad. Who knows? So I got another set of injectors I might throw on tonight. But I want to make sure that these ones are actually shooting before I do that. So
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that all the injectors are bad. That's the one thing
yeah.
I wonder if either your injector harnesses, because it goes, do they supply you with the full injector harness?
hmm the whole engine
Okay,
harness.
the whole
Yep.
thing. So yeah, I find it extremely hard to believe that it's all the injectors. I mean, if it didn't pop on one or two, maybe that would make some sense. But the fact that it's not getting any fuel, anything, that's really weird.
It is, and
And
I've never really experienced having any like injector problems ever with an LS. So, and
yeah,
that's all I've been
I
messing with
thought I had
forever.
some.
So,
Yeah, and I swapped some injectors, and they're, I mean, it's pretty hard to kill one unless it's, I mean, all eight of them. I find that part of it hard to believe, but it's got to be something else.
yeah, I didn't pull all the plugs. I just pulled the number 2 plug, and it was dry. So nothing.
Hmm,
Yep.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It'll pop a code.
Hey, but
The
it's
more
got
you try
oil
and crank.
pressure. Hell yeah, that's all I cared
Good.
about. I was like,
That's
okay,
good.
oil pressure, cool. Fuel
Yeah,
pressure,
right.
cool. Nothing's
Well, damn
leaking.
it, Dave. Well, that's the end of the show for the night, guys.
Yeah.
Dave's gonna go
Goodbye.
troubleshoot. I'll talk to
Yeah. No,
you
I'm
later.
only gonna work on it a while tonight. I'm kind of tired, but I'll see if I can get it going. Troubleshooting's frustrating because it's like once you get into it, it's like you do not want to stop until you figure it out. So it's frustrating when you got to
Yeah.
let it go. So hell yeah. What are these guys saying up in here?
Well, what are they
Ben's
saying?
talking about he did something with Tupperware and Seafoam and had a milkshake or something.
I have no idea. He's just, it's Ben. We don't go drink more beer, Ben. He's getting his tranny. So he had his tranny on his way from Texas with one of the guys on the forum, and it was wrapped up in plastic, sitting in the back seat of our one of our buddies' trucks or one of his buddies' trucks, and all the guys were ripping on him and making tranny jokes. And of course Rob comes out with the dry tranny, and did you guys have some problems with bed? Was it drinking a problem?
Just giving him crap.
And Ben's all excited about his level 17 4L60, but nah, hopefully it works, dude. I hope it's not. I hope it doesn't shit the bed.
All right, so all you guys make a prediction of what you think that it could be, and then the right one, I don't know. We'll do something for you guys. You pick the right thing. But I would think that it already has, like you said, since it did fire up. It probably hit for about 3 seconds and it sounded fine. So I would think that it's reading the crank. So, but who knows?
Well, that's nice, Jesse. That's real nice.
Yeah. Hey Jesse, that's a good call on that one. Steve, the truth hurts.
You know what?
Buddy.
He doesn't even know where I live anymore.
The truth hurts.
The truth hurts.
Injectors plugged. It sat for so long. Old gas. I've checked the grounds are like super clean, but I'll check them again tonight. Make sure everything's cool.
Jesse, you win a swift kick in the ass.
So this is the thing with that as far as the grounds go. I think typically when you have a grounding issue on an LS, the ejectors don't want to do, or I mean the coils don't want to do stuff either. So it's you know what I mean. So
continuity,
yeah.
Well,
it's like if the injectors are or the coils are firing, then
the injectors should be firing as well.
Usually the ground should be cool. But I'll check them. That harness is pre-made, and I didn't do the harness myself, so who knows. But, yeah.
Node light. That's what I was going to suggest to you, Rob. I was going to say throw a node light on the injector harness and see if you get anything there.
Yeah, we need to
bring it home. I think it's rad. You got a Tech 2. That's cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Map sensor? No. Coolant temperature sensor?
Maybe.
When I have these problems, I call Steve. That's generally what happens.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Typically in the past, what I'll do is, have Joe there at the beginning, because then he can just be like, oh yeah, it's this, it's that, and then you can just wipe out the problems.
With HP tuners
immediately. Yeah, because you can see all that stuff, so I'm gonna have to. I haven't looked at anything. I haven't really, so it's like I haven't even scanned it really to see what's up with it. So it's just basically I got all the hardware in place, ready to go, and now it's getting it to work. So it's all good. It'll be good.
Let me ask you this: since we're talking about a Tech 2, how can you get one?
You can buy one.
You can?
You can buy them. They used to be like $2,000.
That's cool though. I mean, can you?
Well, now you can get I think the one that they use now, I think the Tech 2 wasn't reading a lot of stuff because a lot of the chassis stuff with the motorhomes went to Ford and stuff like that. So I think that they actually use like this. It's like an expensive Snap-on scanner. I don't exactly know what the name of it is, but they use that now.
We have one of those at work.
Yeah.
We got one of them Snap-on deals. There was like $6,000 and has all the modules, but it doesn't change thing. You can't change anything. So.
Yeah. So
I used to have an MBI.
But so I think everything is everything except for my driveline. It's done. Ordered some suspension parts for the front, so I bent my my tie rod, so I gotta take care of that. I got some front shocks for it. The brakes are all good. Nothing's leaking, so it's good,
nice.
Man. It was a good push, so I'm glad I did it. And now I get this sucker to run. I want to drive it next week. I gotta go down to DMV on Saturday and get it registered. So I already insured it. So hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I want to see that thing on the road. What are you going to do for the bed?
Well, I'm thinking about. I mean, the paint isn't that great, but it's still all one color. So I'm kind of hesitant to actually cut into it. But what I think I'm going to do is um, cut out a fuel door on the K10 bed, and then cut as nicely as I can on the rear of the K20 bed, and then stitch it in. Like try to just like grind out just as little as I have to weld it, and then just maybe like clean it all up. And I don't know if I'll just like leave it rusty, or I don't know. I'll try to do something cool with it, but I think I might do that instead of running it all funky. I think if I just do a little trimming and actually just put that door in there. I know I'll have like 3 doors on the truck, but who
Wait,
cares?
wait. So you're saying you keep the stock bed, put another door in,
Yeah, so I'll
or
cut.
let
So
me see
I
that.
have two. I have the K10 bed on the side of the house that came off the K10 before I shortened it, and I have the K20 bed. So what I'm going to do is cut the fuel door out of the K10 bed and then put it in the back of the K20 bed. Like basically the same height as the front door, but shift it, put it in the back, and then like just try to make it as neat as possible.
Why
So
don't you just cut a hole in the bed and put the filler cap in there instead of
well,
poking a hole
well
in the
that's the
side?
well that's the problem though. I don't want to. Like I was thinking about doing that like the 70s truck style where you just put the fill neck right at the like outside of the deal. I think that could be cool too, but like I'm thinking like what if I got the bed loaded and stuff like that? I don't want to be freaking having to move stuff to pump gas into it. So I kind of had it
Right.
that way on the K10, but it was up in the fender well. It came out and it was okay, but I still like what if I put like a camper shell or do something like that? It'll kind of suck. So,
Right.
that,
True.
yep,
That's
yep, yep.
that's cool. So did you put differentials in this thing, or is it still open front and rear?
No, it's still a welded front. No, actually, it's not welded. It's a mini spool front and rear.
Oh, dude, nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to take the. I'll probably at least take the mini spool out of the 14 bolt in the back. So
I was to say just leave the spool in the back and open the front back up.
yeah, and it's a pain in the ass. I don't know. I'll drive it a little bit with those other tires that I'm
We
gonna
want
put
to
on and see
see
how it is.
donut videos, Dave. Don't be a
You will.
pussy.
You will. Oh, that's the
I
one
want to see
crappy thing, dude.
those old ones.
I haven't recorded any video at all. I just been busting on the truck. So once it's done, I'll do a walk around and go for a drive. I don't know, do something cool, but oh yeah.
Heck yeah,
But whatever I do
dude,
to
you
the bed,
better.
I'm on a video. It's just like all this stuff's just been like a crash course. So all right, we
Heck
got
yeah.
Grumpy's up in here. Wheels 87K5. What is going on, guys? Military
Oh,
bed. I don't really like the look of the military beds on them for some reason. I know a lot of guys dig them, but I don't. What do you think about the military beds on these?
I love it.
Do you?
I want one. Yeah.
Really?
The
Really?
tug truck is like my favorite Dodge. The one that Fred built, the orange one for the ultimate adventure. It's got a Cummins. It's on 40s. I've talked about it before. You know what I'm talking about? It's orange, diesel power. Like they friggin' dude. It's huge. They call it the tug truck. Dave, Google it right now.
All
You're on
right,
the computer.
I'll Google it.
It's just look it
Let's
up.
see.
It's like an 80s or not 80s Dodge W250 or 300 or something like that. Yeah, ultimate tug. But dude, that thing is
Don't be
rad.
typing ultimate tug up in a Google search. Might not be good here. Oh,
Especially
is it a
at work.
Dodge?
Yeah, and
Is
it's
it
got a
Dodge?
Cummins, and I think it has an NV 4500 in it with a Magnum, and it's on tons, and it's pretty rad. So Grumpy's saying he's picked up a K10 with Dodge tons and 37s for $1,500. He stole it, dude. That's a really smoking deal.
What did he say he got? Let's see. I picked up a K10 with Dodge. Oh, hell yeah, dude.
For $1,500, that's what
Dude,
those
hell
axles
yeah.
cost.
Oh yeah, easy. All day, busted all day.
Ben always looks at the ultimate tug.
Dude, 1,500 is what you'll probably pay for a freaking Dana 60 around these parts.
Right?
It's crazy, right? So probably about, I don't know, about 10 years ago, I guess. Maybe a little bit less than that. Me and my heavy line guy at work, we were looking through Craigslist and seeing this 1-ton Chevy truck. It was like one of the work trucks. It had like the modular kind of bed on it. And so I'm like, well, crap, dude only wants $300 for the truck. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I wonder what's up with this. So I called the guy and I'm like, hey man, just calling to check on your truck. And he's like, I know what it's worth. I ain't selling it for no $300. And I'm like, well, why did you put the ad up? You know, it's like, what the hell? Because we were just gonna like take the
Jeez.
axles out of it, and, you know, whatever. But I said,
Oh
man,
man, here comes Jay. There's my partner right there. Everybody, you can spam the hell out of Jason saying
Jason
diesel.
Johnson.
That's what. Okay, so you remember the Johnson lever that I talked about?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. That's the inventor of the Johnson lever right there.
Oh, nice.
And he's talking about the Patriot chassis being diesel powered. See what he wants to build, because he's a Ford guy. You know, God love him. Unfortunately, I mean, there's one in every bunch. There's just, he's a little bit more special than most. But he wants to put,
A
I guess
POS
they
Super
call it the
Duty in it.
Scorpion. Yeah, something, I don't know what it is. Some Scorpion motor. We'll just call it a kitten motor. A kitten and powder puff motor in a 60s Dodge. I want him to build like a dent side crew cab. Have you ever seen those? They're kind of like the similar generation to the square body. That's pretty much the only Ford, just like the one that whatchamacallit, the one that Drew drove over here. That generation of Fords. That'll be pretty much the only one, except
Oh,
for the really
gotcha.
small Bronco. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
pretty much 70s or whatever. But yeah, Aaron, I'm pretty sure Jason would absolutely rock a 6.2 diesel. I'm gonna buy a truck and I'm gonna make him drive it with a
What's
6.2
the
diesel
what's
as
the
far as
price point
possible.
on these chassis?
So it depends. It depends on what you want in it, and what kind of suspension you want. They start around 18, and that comes with front suspension for a solid axle, rear, and it would be coilovers front and back. Um, Travel would depend on what you wanted. So the basic level stuff's going to be around 12 inches of travel, somewhere in that range. So it'd be like you could try double triangulated triangulated 4 links front and rear. So you could take that truck and then go out to pretty much any sort of trail
So it comes
around
with
here.
axles and everything, or is that just
It,
suspension
it
and
it
frame?
doesn't come with the axles. It comes with the frame, all the brake lines, fuel lines, powder coating, front and rear bracketry, shocks, and basically anything you could possibly need to hook it to your factory axles and motor. So the motor mounts, the transmission cross member. Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, what
We
kind of
work with
financing
PayPal,
options you got, bro?
right?
Got like
Yeah.
30 year on that.
Well, and that's the thing too and that's kind of where it starts. I mean, the sky's the limit on this kind of thing, and we're really reaching for the kind of guy that has a reasonably large expendable income, and
Yeah.
the guys that are pretty much not going to be the ones building it. They
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
somebody do it for
So we're
them.
talking
So
about,
that's where it's
yeah, we're
at.
talking about the guys that they send their stuff to a shop and Tray 5 does a
Right.
build on it and uses one of your chassis or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Ben's asking if IFS 4x4 solid rear with trailing arms. 40 grand probably. But in all seriousness though, we're not Steve doesn't care about the working class
No,
man
tell
anymore.
me
Hey,
about
I
it,
can't afford
Jesse.
them.
Jesus, man.
I I yeah, Bill, I don't want your rubber checks, bro.
Jeez, what's the family and friends discount?
The family and friends discount. That's what Fortify is for. Come on, you guys know better. But yeah, no, it's going to be really cool. And this is where we push the limits of what's possible. And that's what we did with this other truck. Like this IFS system that we built for this other truck. Can I give you my my credit card from Africa? Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, that thing is going to be ridiculous. I can't wait to see that
No,
thing and
that's cool.
drive it. But yeah, it really is a truck that I can't afford yet.
So are
I'm
you
not in
guys
a position.
working on the demo right now and then
This is
getting
the
it in a
very
truck?
first prototype truck. Yeah, so we already made some changes from the original design. This design has a 3x5 chassis. We're moving up to a 3x6 because it's stronger, obviously. Jason did some crazy math and figured out what the modulus was of the Chevy, the 3/4 ton Chevy chassis from 99 to 06. And we're trying to basically hit that range of strength. The GVWs, like we were talking about the other day, being what they are, we kind of want to be in that range for a 3/4 ton truck that's new.
Right.
So basically, that allows guys to put a big diesel in it, and it's not going to bend the truck in half.
So what is um, is there any type of, I don't know, like anything that is it just all testing on your part to make sure it can handle that, or does it have to be independently tested before you can sell a product like that drives on the road, or how does that work with that? Or is it
So
considered
as
like an
far as DOT
aftermarket
is
thing, or?
concerned, so the way I understand it, so don't take this for 100% the truth, because I don't know for a fact this is all 100% true, but the way that I understand it, for example, we'll use DOT. DOT asks you if you've done reasonable testing to certify what this chassis is designed to be used with. So, like for example, we don't have the luxury of going and changing the GVW on these trucks. So when we sell a chassis, that chassis is built for the truck that you're going to put it under, 70s Chevy. The highest GVW that they had, I think we saw, was what, like 14,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Still a lot of weight. Technically speaking, you would lose payload capacity because the chassis is heavier than the factory chassis. So and if you're in a state where they don't enforce it that much, which I find kind of hard to believe, but I know there's some places out there where you can get away with stuff. Then it's something that you can, if you're off road and you're not towing on the street and all these other disclaimers I'm going to say, and I'm not going to put a bunch of numbers out there, but you can tow a bunch. Let's just put it that way. You tow and it's on you. As far as the DOT is concerned, when we look at a chassis and we say it's good for X number of pounds of towing or whatever the case may be, if we were to go to litigation over something like an accident or whatever, they would look at us and look and go, okay, well, you guys are engineers. You have been building vehicles and chassis for X number of years. You're considered professionals because of the business that you're in. And this is all of the research we did and all of the math we've done to certify that this is actually physically possible. And it's not just some arbitrary statement that we made. And you should know, though, on this example with this truck, we really do take a lot of time to go through the variables and look at, yeah, right, all the dot requirements are connected to the VIN, so like the GVW and whatnot. GM has established those numbers. So I'm still looking at this from the upfitter side of the world, but I don't know that we're going to get around that.
Cool. Yeah, it's
kind
of a hard question for you because it's there's a lot going on. I'm sure you guys are working on it. So.
Yeah, but anyways, as far as like what they can do and stuff, they're going to do everything that a stock Chevy does, but 100 times better.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, we exceed those requirements. Yeah, that's what Jason's saying. So it's a really good. If you're going to use the truck for a lot of stuff and you're going to be bouncing around or just beating the hell out of it, this is far better for longevity than any stock frame. I promise you. There's no way the stock frame is even close in any measurable manner to what we've put together. We're really, like, Jason's a Ford guy, so he knows about all kinds of other shit breaking, and I'm a Chevy guy, so I know all about breaking frames. And basically where we're at is, it's like I'm really tired of building suspension for people that are friends of mine and having their trucks break. Jesse's a perfect example. You really rely on that frame flex. Bill, I'll tell you what, it flexes. No, it doesn't flex at all compared to the stock frame. Bill, what it does, though, we're going to be building one of these that has a solid axle on the front and back here really, really fast after this truck. So basically, July 7th is when this truck's going to be at the Brothers Truck Show. So you guys can come and check it out, and you can look at it, and you make your own judgments if you think it's heavy duty or not. When that one is done, and we're done with this show, and that thing is probably going to make its way to Texas and stuff, we're going to be building the K10. That's an orange 72 that Roberts Custom Trucks has. And that thing has a nice little 383 with a 700 R4, and we're going to be putting 1 tons on it, and probably a 35 to a 38, somewhere in that range. And it's the show's in Anaheim. You'll have to go on their website.
I'll come check it out. Let me know. I'll roll up there and check it out.
That'd be cool. Super rad if you came, dude. That would be very cool.
Yeah, I'd like to check it out.
But that other truck we're trying to build, in such a way that, and I don't know if this will work because of tire clearance and stuff like that, but my thought was it would be really cool to have a first gen truck that had, 4 to 6 inches of lift on a decent sized tire, and then Anaheim, California, yes. And it has, some heavy duty bumpers and maybe some rock sliders and maybe a roll bar in the back, but something that you would like, you look at it and you're like, man, that looks pretty serious. And then you walk up to it and you realize that, hey, it's got tons and it's got an MP205. Like the only thing it wouldn't have is a doubler. But you may almost, no, Jesse, you would almost think that's a serious crawler. Like, but the body is perfect. This thing's orange, so I want to kind of do a black and orange scheme on it. We'll see if that actually will look good or not. But we might call it Agent Orange. I don't know. I want it to be a super badass truck, though. I mean, it has to have like a little bit of persona to go with it, because I think that that's part of this whole thing, right? Is I can build it with stock hubcaps and all this other stuff and make it, that side of the world, which I appreciate and it's cool. But I want something that says something to certain people. And, in California, pre-runners are great, but that's just California, right? So I want to go out and I want to show people this truck, and I want them to kind of look at it and just, I want people to look at it and go, oh, wow. And like how, like they couldn't help but react to what they saw because it was not something they were expecting. And that's part of the whole Johnson lever thing, and just the way that the chassis is made, and like, that truck, I could literally pop the front end off of this K5 that we're building and literally sling it under that K10, and boom, now it has IFS with 4-wheel drive.
Let's go. Speaking of that, what's going on with that Blazer frickin' Bronco thing you got? What's going on with Ethel? Edith Ethel.
What? No, Ethel's my tow truck. My Lucy?
Lucy.
It's not that hard, Dave. Lucy and Ethel, come on.
Yeah.
I love Lucy. You're old enough to know what that is, Dave.
Gotcha.
So what the deal is it's sitting in my backyard gathering dust. And yeah, exactly. Wow, that is badass. That's what we want people to say. So the Blazer, you guys are not going to like what I'm about to tell you. So just put your man pants on.
Oh, here it
Hold on
comes.
a second. I'm going to grab
all this crap he's been giving me about building this truck, and now he's got his truck parked on the side of the house. But I think he's doing a swap on something else, though.
I am doing a swap on a 72 K10. That's my brother-in-law's truck. That's what that 6.0 I got in here is for. So guys, I'm not doing a 14 bolt, okay? So just shut up about it, all right? I'm not going to put a 14 bolt in it right now, okay? I don't want to hear it. Don't say anything about it. You're just going to have to listen to what I'm going to tell you right now because you don't have any control, and I'm the one talking.
So
talk to Curry.
Ben is he just keeps running 4L60s, and you just keep running 4 9-inches.
I'm not putting an 8.8, Bill. So this is the deal. I'm not gonna swap a Coyote. You guys, what are you seriously?
Coyote.
You guys just shut up. Just shut up. I told you. I don't want to hear it. No Dana 70s. Not a Bronco. Aaron, go. You know what, dude? There's a boat over there with a troller motor.
I don't like things with more than one cam in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna build. Dude, I will. We need to put a turbo.
I'm just using you as an example, Ben. That's all.
It's all right. Ben is.
I know it's built for 600 horsepower, but
600 horsepower.
Something might happen to it.
With 400 horsepower or less.
Something will happen.
No military act. Yeah, I'm gonna put a 1.5 rear axle in it. So here's the deal.
Some Rockwells. Hell yeah, dude. That's what you need.
Right? That'd be crazy. On 35s. That'd be sick burnouts.
Hanging on some leaf springs.
Right? Yeah, dude. Be like through the floor.
Yeah.
So here's what's happening. Well, I think what's going to happen. I talked to Curry, and I told him the problems that I was having, right? I'm like, it eats axle seals, and it eats the carrier or the bearings in the flanges on the outside, on the semi-float flanges, whatever the hell they're called. And it also frags axle shafts and breaks pinion gears. So what they told me to do, because I'm a dealer, I get a little bit of a deal. It's not as good as you might think it is, but I get a little deal, so it helps. New case with the 3.250 bearing, 9-inch gears still, which is, they said that should be fine. 40 spline axles, which are bigger than what's in a 14 bolt, still semi-float, but the housing ends that they use, they say are from a military application, and they have a set 80 bearing. So the bearing base, the bearing flange is like 45 millimeters, and they're out farther on the axle shaft, so that it's basically like, you know, a normal semi-float 14 bolt, or excuse me, semi-float 9-inch has about 2.5 inches between the flange and the bearing where the bearing retainer is located. On this axle that I'm talking about now, is it moves it outboard farther. The disc brake retention plate bolts onto the outside of it, so it's as close as you can get to a full
right
floater without actually putting full floaters on it. Sounds like a Bruce Jenner axle. Yeah. So, but it's basically like the 9-inch that's out back in the race truck. Besides the fact that it's a full floater, it's the same as that. So the nice thing about it is if I do frag the gears, I can go and put a 10-inch ring gear and a bigger pinion in this case, and it won't interfere with anything.
Well,
so it allows me to have expandability.
Do you know what caused your issue now?
No idea, but it does. It's something that's really broken. I think the spool broke. So if that's what happened, then you know, that's just from. I mean, there's nothing I can do to get around that.
Yeah.
The spool is, you know, I would run a. So the spool that I have is drilled, and that was done by a Pro Truck team. That was a lightened spool. So what I would end up doing is not running just a lightened spool at this point. I'd run some chromoly spool, but yeah. So here's the thing. I know a lot of guys running 35 spline for 9-inch semi floaters, no problems. And I'm not running a 40-inch tire. I'm running a 35. I might bump to a 37. Yes, I want to make power. Yes, I probably will go full floater in the future. But yeah, the Fords came with 9-inch there for race trucks. So yeah. Don't do it, Bill. It's not worth it. Spools suck in the front. The other thing is, for me, because of what that truck does, I don't want to lose that ground clearance. It already has shitty ground clearance in the back because of the leaf springs. Even if I link the thing and there's weight considerations and stuff, I didn't think it was that big a deal. We started talking about the fact that you add another 150 or 200 pounds to the rear end. That makes a difference. Yeah, I'm going to add weight with the 40 spline stuff, but I really don't want to rebuild my truck again. And right now, I could leave the leaf springs in the back and not have to touch it, throw the parts together, get the new housing ends on, and run with the thing the way it is. I don't want to link it right now.
This is what I'm thinking. So, Steve, you're talking around, basically around, just picking up a junkyard 14 bolt, changing the fluid out, throwing some brakes on it, and welding it in. That would solve your issues.
Not that simple.
Probably keep it less than $500.
No, because I still have to buy the axle, so they're $300 to $500 for the axle. I got to rebuild it because it's already going to be a part.
Bro, I have that one on the side of my house. I told you I'd give it to you. I would gift it to you.
It cost me $200 to drive to you and back.
200? You're like freaking 200 miles away.
Yeah, think about the mileage. My truck
You're
goes,
like right next to freaking.
Okay. Okay, say it's $100 for me to drive to you. I still have to buy a spool, and I still have to buy gears, which means I have to buy the rebuild kit. So that's what, $300 or $400. I still have to buy the spring purchase and the disc brake conversion. I already have all this stuff for the 9-inch, and it's in the truck. And then after that
you
happens,
could sell the 9-inch.
I don't think I could sell
to some Ford person.
Wait, but there's more. But wait, there's more. I have to change my axles. My hubs on the front. So that means I have to buy new wheels. I have to buy new calipers for the front. I had to change the lug pattern. I don't even have lug nuts for the fucking hubs that I've got that are 8 lug. And I still have to get the tires dismounted from these wheels and put them on the new ones.
Right.
You know what that all costs?
Well, it sounds like it's going to cost a lot, but you took a Chevy and you made it, put a bunch of Ford stuff on it, and now it's going to cost you a lot to take it back to a Chevy.
Go back to Chevy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've already done bead locks. I already have the 5/8 studs. I already did all this bullshit work that I should have not done, but it is what it is, right? I'm just going to leave it for 9-inch. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. He's saying
it's about $2,000 for me to switch. Craigslist
ride share. That sounds kind of I don't know, man. That's like hitting
Rob,
NOS with
hey,
the
you guys asked.
4L60.
It needs Warren Premium hubs. It has Spicer hubs on it, okay? Yeah, it sounds cheap after you sell a quarter of a frame. Hey, you know what? It might be.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying,
Exactly.
man. I'm trying.
No,
Well,
but
you
that's
cheap
cool,
asses fucking pull and buy one,
bro.
and then you guys could have one.
Yeah, but these guys they're the do-it-yourselfers, man. They're I don't know. There's
I know.
something with these old square body dudes. You know what I mean? It's like I think we're just I don't know if it was. This is what it
Well,
seems like to
okay.
me. It's just I don't know if it was how we came up or whatever it is, but it's like we just try to do everything on the cheap as much as possible and
And look at where it
just
got
try
you,
to
Dave.
do
Your
it.
truck
Yeah.
doesn't even run now.
Well, I know, but whatever. It's all good. It's all good.
Just kidding. Mine almost left me on the side of the road this morning.
There's my let's see, my garage is
Hovercraft.
dirty. There's my fuel fill that I got right now going on.
Nice.
So that's
Nice.
pretty custom right there.
You swap them tires to the front, put them tires in the back of the front.
Yeah, so
Is that turbo mode?
I'm actually getting rid of it. Oh, it's something going on down here. That's all my junk's
Wow.
out because I've been digging through a bunch of. I got parts everywhere, so I just kind of dig through as I go and get what I need. So yeah. Just got
Hey,
stuff
is
everywhere.
that a Starbucks, bro?
Yeah.
Is that an orange mocha frappuccino?
It's a venti latte, but it works.
How many
And
shots?
I put an ad. It's 4 shots, okay? Quad
Oh my
shot.
God!
I
You
know
got your
exactly.
Starbucks.
I did. I even
You know
put
what I
whipped cream
drink,
on
Dave?
it. Put some whip on it.
Oh,
Anyways,
I drink coffee, Dave. Folgers.
well, I typically drink coffee black, but when I go for the wife, I get one. Whatever. Shut up,
I
Steve.
thought you'd go some different
You
direction with
gotta. Hey,
that.
at least my truck's all Chevy. There's no Ford parts on my truck.
Are you sure about that?
I think so.
I think so.
I think so.
You want to know something that's sacrilege? You want to know something about Ethel that nobody else knows, Dave?
Oh God, here it comes. What's up?
It has a Ford fuel pump.
All
Can
right,
you
guys, I'm
believe that?
killing this stream right now. It's over. Hey, but it runs, right?
Yeah, it runs out of fuel about 5,000 RPMs, and the injector pulse width
Dude,
goes to like
you were telling me it runs
120%.
out of fuel. You didn't tell me it was a Ford fuel pump.
It was, yeah. I didn't know when I bought it that it was a Ford pump, so I just went and I looked it up on it was like LS DIY, and it's like, oh yeah, get the E1000, and it's like a $80 fuel pump. No, and I didn't know that like a Bosch 044 was like $120, so I would have just bought that.
Right.
So I'm like, cool, it's like 100 and the flow rate's really low too. It's like 170 liter per hour. It's like barely enough on gasoline. The injector pulse widths go to like 90% on gas, which it runs fine. So if you were running gasoline, it would be no issue. But now I went to the friggin' E85, and I started to watch the trims get way out of control, and then like I just started throwing fuel at it, and the wideband's like not moving. I'm like, that's kind of lean. 13.5 to 1 at wide open throttle at 6,200 RPM. Probably not gonna last long if it pings or does anything weird. Sure rips though. So yeah, it's I don't rev it that hard anymore because I don't have the big enough fuel pump.
So these
When I
guys.
do though,
Go ahead.
no, that's it.
No, so these guys down in the chat, they got some good stuff going on. So I seen on Instagram that Aaron Mills is working on some cool stuff.
I don't
And
know.
was it
That guy, is
him? Was it him that posted up that clean square that he's working on? So
The one that he hacked up.
I don't know. I seen one. I
Where
don't
the
know.
bed from?
Sometimes I mix people up. Sorry guys, but anyways.
I think Aaron's the
it's-
guy with the 6.2 diesel fetish.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, it is. He's actually a boat mechanic, if anybody was wondering.
Boat.
He's super
mechanic.
awkward too. He doesn't even realize that he is though. We still love you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, you're okay, buddy. And then
Regardless
Bill
what
Arrow,
everybody else
he
says.
bobbed his truck. I love seeing that thing last week. And so Bill,
That was cool.
you should just spool the front of it. You already have hydro assist. It wouldn't even matter.
Actually, Dave, I looked it up on Pirate. There's actually a way to lock the front differential, and it actually I heard on a Jeep forum. It was actually in the Jeep hardcore section of Pirate. Rob knows. He'll chime in. But basically, what you do is, you open the differential up, and then you pull the carrier, excuse me, not the carrier bearings, but the spider gears out, and then you rotate the thing like 45 degrees so that you can see the pinion. Okay. And then you clean all that stuff out really good. You get all the oil off the teeth and all the case and everything clean.
I think I've seen this one too. I think it works though. It does work.
No, I mean, it definitely works. And then you weld the pinion to the ring gear. That's actually how rock crawlers work. We did a bunch of research on this. I already checked it on the internet.
Yeah.
I looked on all the Jeep forums. They all are true 100%. Like, they know for sure. That's how you go rock crawling.
And you got to make sure you upgrade your clutch before you do that.
Yes, you have to upgrade the clutch.
You do.
And then I heard that most rock crawlers, when they're rock crawling, thanks, bud. We need to hang out soon.
Later, Jesse.
Later, buddy. So, all right, Aaron, go home then. We don't even want you here. So, you weld the ring gear to the pinion gear, and that locks your front end up.
Yeah.
That you have a locking front differential. And then when you the other cool thing is that it's locked even when the hubs aren't locked, Dave. That's the best part.
Yeah, it is.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you need some like 1550 U joints and whatever.
Yeah. No, you weld the U joints together too. Those are really good.
Nice.
But can you imagine like doing that to your buddy, right? And then having him shift that thing into 4-wheel drive in the front yard with the hubs locked, or not even like you leave the hubs unlocked, right? Oh geez, did get fire back when you're talking smack. Okay, so the guy's driving down the road and he's got his MP203 with a part-time kit in it, right? Just cruising. You've welded his front end for him. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Cool, man. He drives home with the subs unlocked, gets to the dirt road, and he's doing like 50. And because it's an MP203, you can just put that sumbitch into gear, right? He pops it. As soon as he pulls the stick back, can you imagine how violent that
with the
would be?
with the front frickin' plugs in there, crack. That would be fun.
Bow! Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is the front wheels won't lock, but it will completely stop the rest of the drivetrain.
I don't really think 203s are that bad if you get the part-time kit, but that stupid linkage is like a pain in the dick. Like you gotta. It's just a pain. So
Oh yeah.
I just like the simplicity of the 205.
Yeah, I do. I agree. What's going on here? If that was me, I would do an endo front flip. Yeah, right. You would tuck the front end.
Yeah.
At 60.
Hell yeah.
Your auto locking hubs would automatically lock up and then send your front end sliding down the freeway.
It wouldn't be a fun situation.
It would be funny as hell to watch. Dave, can I weld your front end, Dave?
You could. I got a couple I got the spare axle on the floor. You can have it. You can weld it up here. Let's see. Where am I going here?
I'm gonna test this, guys. I'm gonna do a 6,000 RPM, low range, low gear clutch drop, and then we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I got that sitting here.
That's a Dana 67, right?
Yeah,
those are the axles those reckless guys run, huh?
It's a Dana 120 that I got out of Ford. So I'm gonna give it a shot. See if it works out. Did we lose him? No, he's still here.
God. What's up, guy? Drew's hopping in. He said, "What's up, guys? Want to say hello. I'm at a local bar for a coworker's birthday. Lame.
What's up?
Nice progress on Goldy, Dave. Good work on Bill's new bed circumcision. Steve, get your junk ready for Forest Fest. Oh boy." Aaron said he misses Drew.
I bet he does.
Aaron, that's really weird tonight. Drew, Aaron, don't talk for the rest of us. I'm just gonna say that.
Should have got some beers, man. That sounds really good. But
what you mean? One of these?
Yeah, I may have one in there. I may have a Corona in there, but have to see. All right, guys. Geez. So tell us what you guys got going on. Are you guys doing anything cool? What are you guys working on? Let us know. Let us know. I'm kind of need a break from the K20. Once I get it running, take a 6-month break. Go wheeling.
You should take it out. I think it's hilarious. I hate tonight you drew without pants. I think it would be hilarious if you oh wait, you should get it running when it's the hottest time of year.
I am. Okay, so that's the plan. So I thought about what I was going to do, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to get the basics in there, get it fired up, get all the bugs ironed out, make sure everything's cool, and then I'm going to pull all of the vintage air stuff out of the K10, since I've kind of come up with a plan for the K10.
What's the plan?
Me and the boy are going to turn it into his rock crawler, when he gets a little older,
Heck
so
yeah.
it can just chill out. And then, so I'm gonna take all of the vintage air out of there and swap it in here. So I'll take probably not this weekend, but maybe next weekend or the weekend after, and swap all that in. And the one cool thing, like this weekend, which really made me kind of wanted to get out here, is it cooled off, and it was so nice. You know, it was like it got
Yeah.
damn near in the 60s some days. So
Right?
it was just beautiful to be out here with the doors open going. So I
Heck
dug
yeah,
it.
man.
I dug it.
We're proud of you, Dave. You've done so well.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Well, it's
Keep
only
up the
been like
good
a
work.
week. It'll probably stop soon, but
It's all
you
right.
know.
You got to keep your steam meter your output, Dave.
Yep.
Don't go crazy.
Okay, what do we got? Smoking Urn? Did I mess
The
his
what?
name up? Smoking Urn? Smoking
Oh,
Urn? What's up?
no,
He said I need to replace the floor pans on my K20. That is, I hate Russ doing Russ stuff.
smoking them.
Kevin said not letting the K5 die. Aaron Mills. I make my kid do all the work. See, that's exactly what I want to do. So I want to go wheeling and be like, all right, just sand the truck and I'll be back later. You know, small panel
Right.
left hand, big panel right hand. Teach him karate while he's doing it. So it'll work out. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
you know.
That's really random.
What? So these guys get it anyways. It's all good.
Well, I don't. I mean, some of us are, not that old.
Some of these
Oh,
guys
man.
are that old.
I know,
Maybe they're
right?
not.
Rob especially. He's got to be. Rob was around when these trucks came out.
I
I'm
know.
pretty sure.
That's who, if I run
When
into
they went
troubleshooting
from
problem, I need to just call him and be like, hey, what's up?
Rob, just put your cell phone number down in here. We're gonna write it down so we
Yeah.
can put you on speed dial. Rob, do you know why this is happening? And if he doesn't, then a bunch of people. Larry
Kevin
knows if
says
he
you're
doesn't
all
know.
old. Hey, Kevin, what's your name on Instagram? I think I know who this guy is.
Frig off, Kevin. What are you, 21? Oh man.
It's crazy how fast it comes at you, right? You just
Oh,
look
dude, I
down and
just.
bam, you're freaking
Hey,
40.
my birthday's on Saturday, June 1st.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 34.
34. Goodness, man.
And guess what I'm doing?
What?
Absolutely nothing.
Nice.
I was gonna have a barbecue and that's it.
So Kevin's
He doesn't have
25.
an Instagram. 25.
Don't even have an Instagram.
Snapchat, dude. I tried to Snapchat. I don't even know how to. That thing is
Snapchat.
stupid.
Is that the one where you make the like dog faces and stuff on yourself? Can
I
you
don't
actually
know.
communicate with that? I don't know.
I don't actually know. It was
Yeah.
funny though. Did you see the picture I took of myself
What
as a
did you?
woman?
You were telling me that you figured out that one app on your phone. Was it like Grinder or something like that? You were telling me that worked out pretty well for you.
What?
Yeah. Don't play coy. We know.
Dave, I'm not Japanese. I don't have those kinds of fish.
Okay. Copy.
Grinder. Dude, it's Craigslist for men. Okay.
Oh, do you use the Craigslist? Oh, that's cool.
Craigslist looking for
Yeah.
platonic singles or whatever the hell it is.
Bearded
Hey,
men
did
for
you know
bearded
though
men.
there is a Ford singles section? I think Jason's the guy that's on that one. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff to talk about as far as that's concerned with
Dave,
Fords.
you're too old for. I think I am too old for Snapchat.
Wouldn't that be weird if Dave was like, like dog facing and all kinds of stupid stuff on Snapchat? Like, he'd be over there with his Jeep and he's got his freaking,
Yeah.
his,
I got a
his
separate
coffee.
account just for the Jeep. Keep it separate. So.
What is it
so I
called?
got-
I heard that Jeep's coming out with a new model.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell
I
me
hear
about
I hear it competes with the Mustangs for crowd wrecking.
Oh god, dude, that's so funny watching all the videos, dude.
I'm sorry,
The
dude.
freaking Mustang is just losing
Oh
control.
my god. Oh my god. Yeah, and then none of those guys can drive. Like
I
I've
don't
had
know, dude.
buddies that with Mustangs, they just can't drive.
I think they just get carried away in the moment, and it's just over.
And their pull out game is just terrible. They
Yeah,
pull out and crash into a crowd of people.
pretty much. They can't
Right there with the
control it.
Corvette guys too.
Yeah. Well, those Mustangs have so much horsepower; it's just so hard to control. So I've
You're
heard
so
I've heard
funny,
they got
dude.
like 800 or something. So
Wow.
it's hard
Okay.
to keep control of that.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
I
I
seen
had
it on
no
the
idea.
internet. Seen it on the internet. So
Oh, you did,
for
yeah?
sure it's true. For sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, I
Did
want
you
to
do you
bless things.
see what Ben's policy is down there?
No, I see his policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. No,
That
Ben's
might get you.
policy is
It might be
good
expensive,
policy.
Ben.
It
So
could be.
careful.
Oh, wow. All right. No, smoking earn. We don't like guns. We're all Jeep guys that wear vests and go to Sierra Club conventions with our
Yeah.
significant others.
Pink polo shirts and white pants.
Pink polo shirts, white
Yeah,
pants,
we go to luncheons.
Birkenstocks with socks,
I wear like flip flops with socks. Like, whatever.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's terrible. Terrible, terrible.
My
I could
wife's
never.
on,
I don't
my
know how to
wife's
do
on
that.
me. She's like, "That's stupid." I'm like, "Well, I'll
So,
just
so
go
do
to
you
the
wear a wife
store."
beater when you do that, though?
Sometimes. One time when I
Jeez,
lived at
man.
my last house, I was doing the. I was doing one. I think it's the engine that's in this truck, but I did it a long time ago. And so like, I was out there after I got it back from the machine shop. I was out there washing it off with soap and water with a tall boy and my wife beater. Just go. People are driving
Dave,
by like, look at this ghetto fool. But it's awesome.
They probably think Dave is friggin' some cholo from Los Angeles,
I don't know. I don't know if it's like half Cholo, half like cousin Eddie or something. I don't know,
right?
but
Yeah, man. Really, Aaron? You sure you want to see this? Yes, I am. It's short time. Definitely is.
it is, dude. I wear shorts all year long. I can't stand wearing pants.
Yeah, it's kind of so you just got to sometimes.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Dave? Feel like we don't have anything to talk about.
I don't either. What do
I
you
do
got?
have something to talk about. I just realized. So my buddy bought a C30 crew cab long bed land yacht. Right? Thing is, it's in pretty horrible shape as far as like the exterior is concerned, but the interior is not too bad. I just got him to buy a turbo for his 5.3. He's an old hot rodder guy. He's one of the guys I learned quite a bit of, the fabrication and engine stuff from. He's crazy. He's the guy that will literally just wait for the valves to float and then think about shifting, but doesn't actually ever lift. He's crazy. He used to own a shop down here. Anyways, hit some hard times, got rid of his Duramax crew cab dually, and he's like, man, I need another tow truck. So we're talking about it, and we're like, man, the diesel thing is just so expensive, and $4 a gallon for fuel is retarded. And we're like, well, why don't we just put a turbo LS and a 4L80 in it? Like, how's that about a bad idea, right? And so the turbo is a master power. It's a 67 millimeter. It's a T4 flange. It's got a 1.05 AR. So I think it's a 67 by 88 millimeter is what it is. So it's pretty small. I don't have any pronouns there. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. But his whole thing is we want it to spool quick, right? We don't want it to be. We don't need it to make power past 5,000 RPMs. Like there's really no reason for it to. The 5.3 he has, it's got forged push rods and it's got. I want to say that it's valve springs and an LS2 cam. So I don't know what the LS2 cam specs are or what it does to the power curve of a 5.3, but I know it makes more power than an LM7 cam up top. So what we're thinking is that this turbo is a little bit small. It'll help carry it through the mid-range and probably flatten out a little bit on top. But for a big-ass truck like that, making 500 horsepower and probably 500 foot-pounds of torque to the tire, that thing should be a super fun.
So what's the truck spec and the engine spec again?
It's a C30 crew cab two-wheel drive. Dually, and it's going to be probably a 5.4 drop, something like that. It's going to be on as close to the ground as possible, but it's going to be built to tow stuff. He's probably not going to tow more than 10, 12,000 pounds with that thing, but it should be pretty rad. We're going to try and do. It's a Gen 3, so it'll have the same PCM you have, and we're going to give it a shot and see what we can make it do. The alternative, if that doesn't work, turbo all the way, Ben. Just think about the money. And the reason why I say turbo over a cam is the turbo's not going to lose your low end that you already have right now. There's more breakage of parts though that comes with it, and more plumbing. So I mean, you figure he bought his turbo. It was like $375. It was brand new. He found a guy that was selling them locally, and then he still needs to buy injectors. So 80-pound Deca injectors, or there's this company called Snake Eater Performance that's selling injectors. You can get, I think, a set of them either matched and flowed for around $300. He needs a bigger fuel pump, so it'll probably be a Bosch 044 or the Walbro 320, I think is what it is, because it's going to be 85, capable. So we'll put a flex sensor in there, so it'll all be happy. And then you got to get an intercooler. Basically, what we're trying to do is we're following Sloppy's recipe for the first gen. I can't remember which truck it was. The Colorado build that he did with the 6.0. It's pretty simple stuff. You're not trying to be like super high end. It's been pretty much proven that you can pretty much dog shit cobble an LS together with a turbo and some injectors and enough fuel and decently cool air and make 500 horsepower without a problem at all.
Like buy a decent turbo, right? Then you can just find whatever intercooler you want, and
I guess decent Chinese turbo, Master Power or VS Racing. We know those are good.
Spend the time to make sure that all your plumbing is right. Don't use the cheap stuff. Make sure you use the good, silicone, and make sure everything's all good with that.
Yeah,
and make sure you have a good tune on it.
Stuff, yeah.
Now, so Ben asked Steve, honest question: cam or turbo swap? But they're just two different animals, but they still require a lot of upgrades because you have to have more fuel. So you got to have a larger pump, then got to have larger injectors, and then you got to make sure you got to change the exhaust. Well, maybe with both or with the turbo, you got to change the exhaust. So there's a lot of fab work with that. And then you got to mount your intercooler. So usually when you do a turbo, you do both.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work. I think the net return on a turbo for the money will be better in the long run. You can, because it's inherently more flexible than a camshaft. Camshaft is a fixed you get what you get, right? Unless your tune is set up where it's radical on one end with more timing, and then it's conservative somehow. I don't know why you would do that, but the problem too with the cam is on a 5.3 especially. You're really limited. Like there's not any cams out of the gate besides the one cam that Brian Tooley is making that I know of. It's 940 that I know of that won't ditch your bottom end power. And when I say bottom end, I'm talking like below 3,500 RPM, and that's pretty much where you drive every day. If you're roosting on it and you're beating on your truck, fine. But if you're crawling or you're pulling the mountains or whatever, more cubes. Or a stock LQ4, dude. I mean, that's Kenny's motor is completely bone stock. I mean, you could literally flip the manifolds and then cut and weld the flange on. And I'm sure somebody makes a crossover pipe with the flange, because that's what I would do. Is I'd flip the manifolds, or at least one of them, run the pipe around the back or underneath the trans and over to the front, join them into a wide pipe, and then weld a flange onto that. And then put the turbo on there, run your hot, your down pipe, wherever it fits. And I would just go out the fender, and then with your cold pipe, go to the intercooler, forward of the battery there, or left side of the battery where that factory hole is at for the air intake. That's a 3-inch punch out. Go through there, hit the intercooler, go the other side. There should be a punch out on the other side of the core support. Come in. And then loop around into the intake manifold.
Yeah,
and
you got tons of room.
Yeah, you should be able to knock that out even with the AC, because the intercoolers aren't that big. They're thick. That's the problem. You have to trim your core support bracketry. But really, in all seriousness, no. I mean, like everybody here that's driving a truck, turbos make torque, man. That's it.
Yeah, that's and there's there honestly is, if you're like banging off the rev limiter. That they both perform well, but that grunt of a 6.0 versus the 5.3 it's a big difference.
It is. I used to think that was bullshit until I drove one for a decent amount of time. And the cool thing, like with the turbo, is, like what we're doing. This is 67. Kenny's turbo on the race trucks is 69, and it makes peak torque at 3,800 RPM. So it's making 550 foot-pounds of torque at that RPM to the tire, which is ridiculous. So you have to the chart is, dude, the thing makes you don't even have to load the engine very much for that thing to spool. Now, what we're going to try and find out here with this is that that little bit smaller turbo gonna spool, at 2,800 RPM or lower? Because that's kind of what we want it to do. And we know with more weight, the more heat energy that is because what happens is when you start to tow, you're doubling or, maybe you're tripling the amount of weight that motor is seeing. So the load goes up. So it's going to spool the turbo quicker when you're towing.
I can't wait to see it. I think that turbo is going to be I think that turbo size is going to be awesome.
It should be super fun and reliable. That was the other thing, is we're trying to not break this truck too. So it's going to be, it might be in tow mode 3 psi. It's just enough to where you can tow 55 miles an hour with the speed limit in California, and not have it be screaming and overheat and stuff, and because that's what kills the motors. It's stupid to build it that way. You can build it that way, because it's proven. Here's the thing. Here's 800 horsepower on all these trucks, with a 88 pound or 80 pound injectors, 88 millimeter or 78, 88. There's a VS turbo that Sloppy runs, and he could literally take a stock 6-liter with no cam or even with their stage 2 cam, which has a pretty choppy idle. If you just go to the Sloppy Mechanics Facebook or the website, and you just look at some of the builds, they tell you how much power it is. They give you even a base tune to start the vehicle with, and all the little parts that you need. It's not big money, man. 800 horsepower is easy. Yeah, so I hate the fact that people are so afraid of turbocharging. It's like every vehicle that's pretty much look at the Chevy. Somebody asked about that new 4-cylinder. That thing makes more torque than a small box Chevy out of the factory.
Are you talking about that new little Cummins they're putting in the Colorado? Oh, you're talking about that?
No, I'm talking about the gas motor.
Yeah.
You want low boost? Well, 500.
Okay,
that is an easy number.
I think this is the problem, and so this is part of the reason why I haven't done turbos on my trucks. Is it, even if you buy a kit, right, like your run-of-the-mill kit,
right,
you're going to spend, after you get it installed, for one, you're going to spend, if you want it right, you're going to have to spend time with your tuner, you're going to have to pay your tuner, you're going to have to dial it all in if you live in different places or it's hot or cold or whatever. But then there's so much that is involved with the turbo. And right. Not that it's crazy, but there's so much involved that it almost, like, for probably the first few months that you have it, like, it's going to be like a never-ending thing that you're going to be just tracking down stuff and messing with it and blah blah blah, and then just to get it right. So that's what I see a lot with that, and so that's kind of reason why I didn't want to, because it almost is like once you go boost, it's never done after that. You're just always messing with it.
Well, I think a part of that is because you can add more of it easily, and I'm that guy. I still chase degrees of timing because I want more torque, and we're all horsepower guys. We're all motorheads or truck. We tinker, right? So like this LS swap, if you were happy to leave something alone, then you would have a stock small block in your truck and some stock axles, and so I think that's kind of one of those things where and so that's almost why I don't want to do it, Dave, and I want to run down the highway for 4 hours or so. There is some science to this, and I call bullshit on that smoke and earn. I've had a couple of them, and I can't. Yeah, I guess I am that guy. Aaron knows what I'm talking about. You're that guy. Okay, Aaron, you're that guy. So it's hard to say that it's not so plug and play, but neither is doing an LS swap, right? It's no different than doing an LS swap. That's kind of how I look at it. That's like the next level of what you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's a supercharger or it's a turbocharger, right? Because the LSA blower retrofits are really common right now, and they are, you can make very similar power. It's just a different kind of power. I think a blower is harder on the motor because it's always turning. Yes, there's bypass valves. It's just a different beast. You got intercooling that you need to take care of. That's harder to deal with. You got a heat exchanger that you got to deal with. That's harder. And air-to-air intercooling is always there no matter what. So anyways, there is a level of learning that you need to do if you want it to be successful. Yeah. You can't just go out and do what all the drag racing guys are doing. It doesn't work. Not for what we're doing. You can absolutely build an LS with a turbocharger that will spool while you're rock crawling. That can happen. You have to size the turbo properly for that to work. There's ways to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not saying like you can't. Like you could put it on and just do mild boost, and you could probably even all stock internals, and you wouldn't really have to do much. You can do that, but you don't want to get the bang for your buck. You got to go all in, But for me with the LSs, it's more about it's worth the time to me to do. And this one, I tried to make sure I did a lot cleaner than the K10 or the K5, just because different application. You know what I mean? So I did it different ways, and I wanted to like prove to myself that I could do all the wiring myself and do all that, all that stuff.
It's
but
not
now
really
it's
worth
just like,
it.
No, not really. But it was fun. It was cool. But it's worth the effort to me to get into a truck to where like I just hit the key and bang. You know what I mean? Like obviously after I troubleshoot it, but
agree.
I love it. I love how it drives the same all the time. This one's going to be my cruiser, my hauler. It's going to be all right. This 5.7 should make good power, and it'll be all right. So just got to get her running. Hell yeah.
I'm considering, because of this whole conversation, going Terminator on mine, like I talked about. I kept going back and forth on it, but this morning.
So let me tell you about this. So I took my PCM down to Joe's shop, and we got to talking. And he's like, dude, those Holly things are just the shit. So he just started telling me about them, and like I haven't really researched them. I would say do it.
Yeah, that's what the consensus is right now. Is Holly's did their homework. So the cool thing about a Terminator is it's like a dumbed down Dominator. There's very few features that are not available to you. You can do boost, you can do trans brake, anti-lag, boost launch, boost by gear. There's a fair amount of stuff you can do. You're limited on the number of outputs, but like what I would have to do is I started thinking about this today. It's like, okay, I have drive-by-wire and I have VVT. So I would have to delete the VVT. I already spent the dang money on the drive-by-wire, whatever it is, what it is. I would probably just switch it to drive-by cable and get a cam, a turbo cam. I would call Brian Tooley and say, look, I'm going to tow. I want a daily driver. I need it to get good mileage. I don't want to have some stupid radical stuff. I want a little bit of noise at an idle. I'm okay with that. But I don't want it to be cranky when it's 20 degrees because I live in the mountains and I just don't want to deal with it. I want to be able to kick the key, start the truck, let it warm up. And then have it do the same thing every day, like we talked about with the reliability thing, right?
Yeah.
And then a 4L80 because I'm done with the manual. I'm over it. I'm sorry, guys. I know I love it for some things, but I'm freaking over the stupid manual transmission. I've been shifting gears for 70,000 miles. I'm like, in this truck. And then the last two vehicles I have owned, I've been manual transmissions. I'm done.
I understand.
I'm over it.
100%.
And I looked at the 6L80. I looked this up and I talked to my transmission builder. That's a $3,500 transmission rebuilt, dude.
Oh, really?
That's a lot of stinking money, man. If you think about that, right? Think about how much that money is, and then I still got to buy another. I have to buy the harness for it, so that's $1,000. So I'm $4,500, $4,600 into a 6L80, and yeah, you know what? I would probably just put a doubler in it, like Ben's been talking about with the low first gear problem. For me, I don't crawl it that much, but I do want to crawl it. Manuals are great for tuning. I can make my automatic do what I tell it to do. Remember I was telling you about the race mode button? Boop. I can just hit a tow haul button on the friggin' dash and have it be fully stupid and bang rev limiters, on my dime. I don't care. That's easy to do. So for me, I'm looking at like I like the Holly. It's very simple. It comes with a nice harness. Um, I mean, if I do boost, I got all the power I could ever want. I can do a small cam. That'll be good and reliable. My 5.3 is a Gen 4, so I can push it if I want to.
Later, Bill.
E85, I'll bump the pump. Later, Bill. Um, there is definitely, I think, there's some money here. It's probably going to cost me probably like $6,000 to do all of this together. But in the end, I really don't want to mess with the truck anymore because that's where I want the truck to be total.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think about that, like for me, it's like it's still cheaper to do that than it is for me to buy another truck. And then I have one that'll do what I want it to do and I don't have to mess with it.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing. Like your truck, that's basically like what I want this truck to be.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Take some miles
Yeah, I
off
mean,
the
still,
Jeep a little bit and basically
exactly.
just, do the stuff because I want to eventually like tow the Jeep with it and tow my
Mhm.
travel trailer. Just, kind of do everything with it. And
Right.
yeah,
A
so
good
that's
old
the
round
plan.
truck.
Yeah.
It's like your 2500 HD, but without all the smog bullshit and all the, you get the ability to have a cool truck that's old and looks old, but it doesn't drive like it's an old truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't rattle going down the road. It drives nice, and people are going to obviously pay attention to it because it's different.
Yep.
They don't see an old truck like that, which is cool. And you have your AC and your heat and all these other little amenities, and
Yep.
then you still, you dude, I haven't had a radio in the truck for a long time, and that's something I was thinking about. It's like you kind of miss the radio. I
Oh,
love
dude.
listening to the LS, but the dang radio, man.
No, I
I want
took
to put a system in it.
there was a deck in here, and when I took it out the other day, because I just, like I said, I cleaned up all the wiring in the dash because somebody had like hacked in a radio and there was just stuff
Mhm.
everywhere. It wasn't too crazy, but I actually did power it up, and it's a nice Sony deck. It's got like like aux inputs and outputs and stuff. So whoever had it before,
Heck
like
yeah.
like I'm thinking like uh some kid owned it or something because I see like there was like a little switch in there for I don't know if what the hell it was. I mean, it had some alarm or something in, and somebody tinted the windshield, and it's like,
Oh
stuff.
wow.
It's like stuff like that. So I don't know, but it's cool. So it's coming along. Like the interior is actually really good on it. So I um I
Nice.
actually so what I ended up doing is I priced out a carpet kit from Summit. It was like a Lund kit, I think, and it was like
Yeah.
160 bucks, and I'm like, man. I'm like, I think I could do a pretty good job. So I went up to Lowe's and I got some of that cheap ass patio
Uh-huh.
carpeting. It ended up costing me like, I don't know, I think I spent like 48 bucks or 50 bucks. I bought like 8 feet of it. It's like 12
Nice.
feet wide. So I'm just gonna like strategically cut it and put it down in there. And I got some floor mats, so it'll look good. And I've already insulated it, so hell
Nice.
yeah, hell yeah.
I thought about doing that. I should do that in my Blazer because I have a carpet kit. I traded for some work, and it's just been sitting in the back. And I have to, I've been trying to think about like the fact that you put your PCM inside the cab. Like for me, I wanted to do that, and that's why I bought the van harness. But this thing's just been a disaster. Um, and I'll be honest. I started thinking about it this morning. Like I was passing a truck and like six cars. And I was in third, and I was probably 3,000 RPMs, and the damn thing goes right into limp mode and I'm in the middle lane on the 10 freeway in the morning traffic, and my flashers don't work. So I'm trying to wave these guys by, and I'm trying to like flash the flashers, and I'm like, this is stupid because I didn't have my laptop running. And at that point, I realized I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I'm just, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. I'm gonna replace the harness in the body with an American Auto Wire harness. I'm gonna do all of the wiring under the dash and in the engine bay, everything, 100%, all the way to the tail lights and back. Because like I think this truck got hacked on because like somebody had a stereo and stuff on it too, and the diesel, the fluids, all the fuel spray off of like injector lines going bad and stuff. All of that is just Framus, man. Like you can see at the base of where all the wiring comes into the cab where it's questionable. And like, I mean, I probably have been lying to myself a little bit. Like there could potentially be a fire hazard that I don't even know about just because of I know the wires that are going into the cab don't look great. So this whole weird voltage offset, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, um, I don't know how much an American Auto wire harness is, but I would imagine it's probably around, $400 to $600 for the thing.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
mean, it's safety and reliability. It's killing me. I mean,
yeah.
I can get out. I had to stop and get out and reset the damn thing. I had to go and unplug the throttle body and the foot pedal, and it finally reset and went back, got back on the road in 2 minutes, and it was fine. But still, kind of inconvenient.
Yeah. I don't know.
Somebody could have slammed into
Everything
me
looks
too, though.
pretty good in here. It's pretty minimal. Like the only thing that I really have in the engine bay now is just the two power wires that power the fuse block, and then
Yeah.
the HEI wire, is the crank and run
Oh, okay.
for the
You're not using the
PCM.
purple wire?
Purple wire goes to the starter,
Right. Okay.
so I'm using that. And then so that's really all
Nice.
I got in there. And then as far as the lights and stuff go, I just got the cheapest because I've tried like the H4 upgrades, like the Hella ones with like the
Yeah,
stuff.
that
But
never
it's
worked.
like they really don't like it's better a little, it's like a tiny bit, but it's not a lot. So I just ended up ordering regular bulbs, like the cheapest ones I could get for it. And then
Wagner.
once, like I said, yeah. So once I get, like I said, once I get it running and get the bugs worked out and stuff, then I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna put the relays in for the headlights and do some headlights. But I did find some they had some pretty cool ones on Summit. They were like 60 something dollars. I think like it's like Pacific, is it Pacific Coachworks? I don't know, something like that, or Pacific something. But they make those lights, and they're cool. So they're like they almost have like the standard bulb in the center. It might be a little brighter, but I doubt much. But then it has like the halos around it. So I thought they looked kind of cool. So you can wire them up for like your daytime running lights and stuff.
Are they
So
HIDs or
no, they're just regular.
LED?
They're just regular. I would like
I'll
some
tell you the
HIDs, but
the LEDs that are in my Blazer, dude, for $80, they are freaking bright,
LEDs are
and
the
they have a
shit.
halo. They look like the JW speaker lights. So I'm not a fan of the way they look. The halos were cool. One of them burned out, so I was a little depressed by that. But they do have a function where you can have one of the halos as an orange ring, so you can use it as a turn signal, which I thought was kind of cool. But you know, if they made a normal looking LED light, I would do that in a friggin' second.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so bright. They're as bright as the I had the Xeon lights on my Volkswagen. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Dude, those things were bright. This freaking the LEDs, smoke that. And they're really clean. Gosh damn it. Really clean. The beam pattern is very clean.
Yeah, my Jeep,
Gosh.
it's got the upgraded lighting that's all LED. Like it, and like the Suburban is HID lighting, but it's almost kind of like the perfect brightness. Like it's bright, and then when you kick the
Right.
high beams, like it's really bright. But the
Right.
Jeep, the just on low beam, it's so bright. Like when the LEDs hit the signs, like I
It's
can't
too
even read
much.
the signs. So I think I need to
Yeah.
adjust them down a little bit or something.
Yeah,
But
probably.
but anyway, so I think we should wrap up because I want to go do a little
Yeah.
troubleshooting before I got to crash out. And I appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
Yeah,
So
guys,
it
thanks
was fun.
again.
We didn't have a lot to
Look
talk about.
forward to
Well, I
next
guess we
week.
did. We talked for over an hour and a half, so that was pretty cool. I just
Yeah.
wanted to update you guys on the build. I'll have a video coming, so once I get it done, I'll go over everything and do something cool, and I'll
Right on,
video
Dave.
whatever I'm gonna do with the fuel fill. So, all right, guys, you take it easy.
All right.
Have a good night. Appreciate you.
Thanks again, guys. Take care.